Good evening to you and thank you for choosing PACIS TV. You are watching PACIS TV English News for this Wednesday, the 10th of June 2026. I'm Hirwa Tuzayisenga. This bulletin is brought to you in partnership with Credo Hotel. We begin with a look at the stories making headlines tonight. We begin in Rwanda, where President Paul Kagame has held high-level investment talks with a delegation of business leaders from Panama. In another major development, the International Monetary Fund has approved a substantial loan package to support Rwanda's economy. Meanwhile, in Nyaruguru district, vulnerable families are welcoming the impact of the Advisor and Partner Week program. And in Kabgayi, students at St. Kizito Secondary School have pledged to uphold the values of their patron saint. Beyond Rwanda's borders, international developments continue to command global attention. The United States says it has carried out strikes on Iranian military positions following recent tensions in the Gulf region. And in Spain, Pope Leo XIV has continued his apostolic journey, meeting volunteers before traveling to Barcelona. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is PACIS TV English News and I'm Hirwa Tuzayisenga. We now take a close look at tonight's top stories. We begin in Kigali, where President Paul Kagame welcomed a delegation of business leaders from Panama for high-level investment talks. PACIS TV Ricky has the details.
President Paul Kagame held the high-level investment talks with a delegation of prominent businesses leaders from Panama at Village Urugwiro in Kigali. The delegation consisted of 19 members of the Young Presidents Organization, commonly known as YPO, and was led by Rogelio Romero, who serves as the chapter representative of YPO Gold Panama, as well as the Chief Executive Officer of Concretex Panama. During the meeting, President Paul Kagame warmly welcomed the delegation by expressing Rwanda's commitment to strengthening global partnership that promote investment, innovation, and sustainable economic development. The discussions focused on Rwanda's remarkable transformation journey over the past decades, which has seen the country emerge as the one African's fastest growing economies. The president highlighted Rwanda's effort in building a conducive business environment, emphasizing reforms that have made it easier for investors to start and operate businesses. This includes improvement in infrastructure, digital transformation, good governance, and policies that support private sector's development. On their part, Panamanian businesses leaders showed strong interest in Rwanda's progress, particularly in sectors such as construction, technology, manufacturing, agriculture, and financial services. The delegation explored opportunities for collaboration and investment, aiming to build mature beneficial economic between Rwanda and Panama. The discussion also touched on growing entrepreneurship ecosystem in Rwanda, which continues to empower young innovators and startups. This meeting is a part of Rwanda's broader strategy of strengthening diplomatic and economic relations with countries around the world. It also demonstrates the government's ongoing efforts to promote Rwanda as a competitive and attractive destination for global investors.
Turning to economic affairs, the International Monetary Fund has approved a major financial package for Rwanda. Our reporter Nick Wineza reports.
The International Monetary Fund has approved a loan of $250 million for Rwanda to help address economic challenges, particularly at a time when conflict is going on in the Middle East. On June 8, 2026, the IMF Executive Board decided that the loan would be disbursed in phases over a period of 38 months. However, $35.7 million will be released immediately to help Rwanda tackle urgent economic challenges. This is a concessional loan designed for developing countries, meaning it carries a very low interest rate, and Rwanda will not be required to begin repayment immediately. IMF praised Rwanda's continued economic growth, noting that the country's economy expanded by 9.4% in 2025, driven by export revenues from products such as coffee, tea, and various minerals, including gold, coltan, and casterite. The acting chair of the IMF Executive Board, Bori, stated, Rwanda's economy has remained resilient despite a series of challenges, reflecting a strong commitment to reforms and sound policy making. The IMF noted that Rwanda should continue efforts to combat inflation and increase domestic production as imports remain high, particularly goods required by businesses. The conflict in the Middle East is expected to slow Rwanda's economic growth, with growth potentially falling below 6.8% in 2026 compared with 9.4% in 2025. Among the consequences of the conflict involving Iran, the United States, and Israel are rising international prices for petroleum products and fertilizers. The IMF loan is expected to help Rwanda implement measures aimed at reducing the impact of the conflict, including increasing government revenues, easing debt pressures, controlling inflation, and supporting the private sector. The Middle East conflict began on February 28th this year when the United States and Israel launched strikes in Tehran. In response, Iranian forces decided to close the Strait of Hormuz, through which 20% of the world's internationally traded petroleum products pass. The effect of Iran's decision were felt immediately, so oil tankers suspended operations through the strait, causing global fuel prices to surge. Rwanda subsequently increased the fuel prices, with petrol rising to 2,938 Rwandan francs per litre and diesel to 2,927 Rwanda francs per litre. As a result, public transport fares were also increased, although the government introduced subsidies to reduce the burden on businesses and commuters. On June 6, Rwanda's Prime Minister, Justin Nsengiyumva, told the journalists that without government subsidy of 18.26%, the price of a litre of diesel would have reached 3,581 Rwandan francs instead of 2,927 Rwandan francs.
From Kigali, we move to Nyaruguru district, where vulnerable families are experiencing the benefits of their Advisor and Partner Week initiative. Ben Kwizera has more.
Nkundabagenzi Desiree and Mukamurenzi Josephine are among the vulnerable families from Rusenge and Kibeho sectors in Nyaruguru district who have received cows through activities being carried out during Advisor and Partner Week. The initiative is intended to solve social and economic challenges affecting disadvantaged residents. The beneficiaries say that receiving cows assets they could never have afforded on their own has given them hope that their difficult living conditions will improve. They expect benefit from livestock through increased agricultural products and other related opportunities. This act of giving me a cow is a very important act. Actually, my life is going to be changed, and my family as well. Before I was given this cow, we used to get low productivity because of lack of fertilizers. So I believe now the harvest is going to be increased. We normally get low productivity, but honestly, ever since we've got this cow, everything is going to be alright. Whether in taking good diet, even the harvest will increase.
ndumva bigiye kugenda neza haba mu mirire nyine n'imyaka nayo izera neza umusaruro uboneke.
The mayor of Nyaruguru district, Dr. Emmanuel Murwanashyaka, says that after recognizing the burden of poverty affecting many residents, the district decided to work together with the development partners on initiatives aimed at helping citizens overcome poverty. He also urged the beneficiaries of such support to take good care of the assistance they receive so that it can help them to become self-reliant. What we request these people is to take good care of these cows, and we encourage them to fight against malnutrition by giving milk to their kids. As government, we are going to work together with partners to educate these people how to take a good care of these cows. During this year's Advisor and Partner Week in Nyaruguru district, a total of 16 cows have been distributed to vulnerable families in Rusenge and Kibeho sectors. In addition, other support activities have been carried out for disadvantaged residents in various sectors across the district as part of efforts to address challenges affecting their well-being. These activities include renovating dilapidated houses belonging to vulnerable families by reinforcing and re-roofing them, as well as providing construction materials such as island sheets and cement to help others build decent homes. Other initiatives aimed at helping vulnerable households to escape poverty are also being implemented.
Students at St. Kizito Secondary School, Musambira in Kamonyi district, have committed themselves to following the example of St. Kizito by avoiding harmful behavior such as drug abuse and misconduct. During a visit, the Bishop of Kabwai Diocese, Reverend Balthazar Ntivuguruzwa, encouraged the students to emulate St. Kizito's virtues of faith, courage, integrity, and moral discipline. He reminded them of the importance of remaining steadfast in their values even in the face of challenges. The bishop also commended parents and teachers for their cooperation in shaping responsible and disciplined young people. You are watching PACIS TV English News. We will pause here for a commercial break. Still ahead, the latest international developments, including rising tensions involving the United States and Iran, and Pope Leon XIV's apostolic journey to Spain. Stay with us.
Bwa mbere nza gusaba akazi hano nari nabitekerejeho mbabarire murakoze mu by'ukuri numvaga mfite ubushobozi ndetse n'ubushake.
So kutiteguye bihagije nuko utaryama neza. Gonda Farm, le paradis du matelas.
Available with DSTV English.
Umubyeyi nyina wa Jambo yaratugendereye Kibeho n'umugisha w'ijuru.
Yabonekeye abakobwa batatu, Alphonsine Mumureke,
Natalia Mukamazimaka na Marie Clara Mukangango.
Abaho ubutumwa bugenewe isi yose.
Turahirwa kubona umubyeyi w'ijuru nyina wa Jambo no kwiyumvira icyo yavuze.
Imyaka 25 irashize hatangajwe ku mugaragaro icyemezo cy'umushumba wa diocese ya Gikongoro gikemura burundu iby'amabonekerwa y'Ikibeho.
Hari ku itariki ya 29 Kamena mu mwaka w'2001.
Murararitswe Kibeho ku nguru ya Bikira Mariya ku wa mbere tariki ya 29 Kamena umwaka wa 2026 mu munsi mukuru w'isabukuru y'imyaka 25 yitangazwa ry'icyemezo cya Kiliziya gikemura burundu iby'amabonekerwa y'Ikibeho.
Umunsi mukuru uzabanzizwa n'igitaramo cy'abaririmbyi kizabimburirwa n'igitambo cya misa ku cyumweru tariki ya 28 z'ukwezi kwa gatandatu umwaka wa 2026. guhera saa 10.
Nimuze dutaramire nyina wa jambo dusangire ibyishimo by'icyemezo cya Kiliziya ko nyina wa jambo yaje iwacu ikibeho.
Azarababwira ati musenge muhinduke, azarababwira ati nyina wa jambo.
Muri Gicurasi kuri Canal Plus wicikwa n'imikino y'indyankuriye, aho umwami wa Premier League azambikwa ikamba, FA Cup igahamya ubukaka bwayo, uwegukana Ligue 1 ahangwa imboni, Bundesliga yo ikimpaka. Muri Liga mwaba muzi uzitwa igihangange cya Espagne, naho ku ya 30 Gicurasi umunyabigo zandika amateka mu mukino wa nyuma wa UEFA Champions League. Kuko ugomba kubaho ibyiza bihora kugeza ku ya 31 Gicurasi. Gura bone musanzwe ugura wongereho ibihumbi 2 uhabwa amashani yose ya Canal Plus na DSTV English Plus. Gurira ku mucurizi wemewe no kuri Mobile Money.
I wish I could leave my skin behind.
Icy'ingenzi ntabwo ari ukugira diplome ya kaminuza. Uyu munsi birahagije kuganira n'umuntu byonyine ukamenya ko yize muri kaminuza ibonetse yose, cyangwa se ko yize muri kaminuza Gatolika y'u Rwanda, Catholic University of Rwanda, by'umwihariko mu ishami ryayo rya Kigali. Ubu abazi guhitamo neza batangiye kwiyandikisha muri Catholic University of Rwanda Kigali campus ikorera Nyamirambo. Abashaka kwiga mu mashami y'uburezi kwiyandikisha mu gihembwe kizatangira mu kwezi kwa gatatu, March intake, byaratangiye muri Postgraduate Diploma in Education PGDE. Ababiga muri weekend. Hatangwa kandi amasomo muri Department of Education in Sciences mu mashami ya Economics and Computer Science, Mathematics and Computer Science, Mathematics and Geography na Mathematics and Economics. Hari kandi Department of Education in Arts and Social Sciences mu mashami ya English and Kinyarwanda, English and French, French and Kinyarwanda, English and Kiswahili, Economics and Entrepreneurship, English and History, Economics and History na Economics and Geography. Uhitamo kwiga ku manywa cyangwa se mu biruhuko. Twakira kandi abanyeshuri bafite A1 muri education bakeneye gukomeza amasomo yabo ku rwego rwa A0. Iyandikisha unyuze kuri wa@cur.ac.rw. Wanahamagara cyangwa ukandika ubutumwa kuri 07 83 18 86 26 cyangwa 07 33 21 46 78 cyangwa 07 88 52 41 98. Wanandika email kuri curkigalikampus@gmail.com.
The only way to being found is getting lost.
Yemwe yashuri bose bashaka ni College Fondation Sina Gerard.
Mama we.
Iri ni ishuri ribumbata icyerekezo cy'u Rwanda twifuza, kuko ritanga uburezi buhamye mu mashuri y'inshuke, abanza, icyiciro rusange ndetse n'amashami y'imyuga n'ubumenyingiro mu buhinzi, ubworozi, food processing, ubwubatsi, ubukanishi bw'ibinyabiziga, fashion design, gutunganya imisatsi, ububaji n'ubusuderi. Hari n'amasomo y'igihe gito short courses mu mashami yavuzwe haruguru aherekezwa na practice zihagije, kuko abanyeshuri bigira mu nganda za Sina Gerard. Sina Gerard International Football Academy yigisha abana guhera ku myaka 6 gucunga ruhago sawa sawa, atletism, imbyino nyarwanda no kwiga amategeko y'umuhanda no gutwara ibinyabiziga nabyo biri mu nyongera y'amasomo. Abana biga amashuri y'incuke n'abanza basoza ibyo byiciro bose bazi gutwara igare. Umwana wa segonderi we atahana uruhusa rwo gutwara ibinyabiziga. Witinda kwandikisha umwana ku ishuri kuri Nyirangarama cyangwa ku mashami ya Sina Gerard Entreprise Urwibutso hose mu gihugu. Ku bindi bisobanuro hamagara 078851 cyangwa 0788305999.
College Fondation Sina Gerard.
Twubaka ubukungu bushingiye ku bumenyi.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. You are watching PACIS TV English News. I'm Fedbe Hirwa Tuzayiseng. We now turn our attention to major developments from around the world. We begin our international coverage in the Middle East, where the United States says it has carried out strikes on Iranian military and surveillance sites. PACIS TV Ben reports.
The U.S. says it has carried out a series of strikes on Iranian military and surveillance sites in a response to the downing of an American helicopter in the Gulf. Air defense systems, ground control stations, and radar sites were targeted near the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. Military Central Command said. In a response, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps (IRGC) said it launched strikes on 21 targets at the U.S. bases in the region, one in Bahrain and other in Jordan, while Kuwait's army said it was also intercepting an attack. The U.S. has described its strike as a proportional response for the Apache helicopter downing on Monday, while the IRGC described the attacks as vicious. U.S. President Donald Trump had earlier accused Iran of shooting down the helicopter and said U.S. must of necessity respond. The two crew members survived and were rescued by an American sea drone. According to U.S. officials, Iran used a drone to launch the attack on the helicopter, but it is not clear whether the Iranian drone had deliberately attacked. An unnamed U.S. official told CBS News President Trump said the helicopter had been patrolling the Strait of Hormuz, a critical shipping channel that was effectively closed days after the U.S. and Israel launched its first strikes on Iran in late February. On Wednesday, the IRGC said U.S. strikes had damaged a telecommunication tower and two water tanks and added the U.S. had targeted the cities of Jask and Sirik. U.S. officials are yet to comment on reports of attacks on its bases, and it is unclear if there has been any damage. Jordan's military said it had shot down 5 missiles fired from Iran. Area on-air raid alert was issued in Bahrain, according to local authorities who said Iranian attacks had been repelled.
Turning to Europe, Pope Leo XIV has continued his apostolic journey to Spain, concluding his stay in Madrid before traveling to Barcelona. Ben has the details.
On the fourth day of his apostolic journey to Spain, His Holiness Pope Leo XIV closed his time in Madrid, meeting volunteers before taking a short flight to the northeast part of the country, Barcelona. To conclude his time in Spain's capital city, Pope Leo spent his last morning in Madrid meeting with the volunteers who dedicated their time to help others truly live his visit, and he offered them his heartfelt gratitude. The Pope highlighted their generosity in responding quickly to calls for assistance. Pope Leo urged all Christians to bring the living of selfless to everyone. Selflessness is like a leaven that makes the human, ethical and spiritual dimensions of a society grow, and it is a distinctive element of City of God. Around noon, Pope Leo arrived at his second destination of apostolic journey, Barcelona, at the city's cathedral and the Holy Cross at St. Eulalia. He began with midday prayer after being met with the crowds along the streets. Using his love and knowledge of languages, the Pope delivered his homily in a mixture of Catalan and Spanish and invited everyone to reflect on the images of a bride and the body. He highlighted how Barcelona's Catholic community, rich in a diversity of gifts, charisms, and personal stories, is an example of the image of the bride. On his first evening in Barcelona, Pope Leo met with young people at Luis Companys Olympic Stadium and listened to 3 testimonies which reflected on themes of conversion, mental health, violence, and suffering.
That was Ben, and it brings us to the end of our tonight's English edition. Before we leave you tonight, here is a reminder of our main stories. In Rwanda, President Paul Kagame held high-level investment talks with a delegation of business leaders from Panama aimed at strengthening economic cooperation. Meanwhile, in Kigali, the International Monetary Fund approved a loan package worth more than 365 billion Rwandan francs to support Rwanda's economy. Elsewhere in Nyaruguru district, vulnerable families in the Kibeho sector welcomed the impact of the Advisor and Partner Week program, which is helping improve their livelihoods. And in Kabgayi, students at St. Kizito Secondary School pledged to follow the values of their patron saint by embracing discipline and good conduct. Turning to international news, the United States says it carried out strikes on Iranian military and surveillance sites where Iran reported retaliation attacks on USA positions in the region. And in Spain, Pope Leo XIV continued his apostolic journey, meeting volunteers in Madrid before traveling to Barcelona. And with that, we come to the end of this edition of PACIS TV English News. Thank you for making us part of your evening. I'm Felibihirwa Tuzayisenga. On behalf of the entire PACIS TV team, thank you for watching. Have a peaceful evening, stay informed, and may God continue to bless you. Good night.